In this video, we're going to be breaking down my top tips for pricing real estate photography. We'll be chatting about what I would do if I was getting started today, how I would come up with my pricing, pros and cons of different pricing models, and my final thoughts on which is best and what I currently use in my business today. So let's get into it right now. So this is a video I've been wanting to make for a good while, and it's probably the #1 question I constantly see in my comments. And I always have to give a very detailed answer, and I want to give so much more, but I'm finally able to make a video on this topic because I've tried different things, and now I can share my results with you. So before getting into pricing, on the contrary of this video, I think you should do free shoots first. If you don't have a portfolio showcasing any sort of real estate work, it's gonna be really hard to land that first gig. And also, one thing to know, I'm currently getting over a cold in case I sound funny. So first off, let's talk about free shoots. I know, it's completely the opposite of this title, but think about it this way. If you don't have any real estate portfolio or content to show another realtor, it's gonna be really hard to land that first paid gig. So what I would honestly do, and what you should do, is offer a free shoot in the beginning. Because think about it, there's no pressure on the shoot because they're not paying for this, and it's an easy way to get connected with this agent and get your foot in the door into the industry. And people constantly ask me, how can I get connected with realtors? I've sent emails and cold emails out, but no one's replying to me. And honestly, again, it's because you're not known in your area, people don't know you for real estate work, and they probably get emails like that constantly from other services. So what I would do is just really look at my circle, whether that's my family and friends, people that follow me on social media, people you work with, just anybody that might know someone that's a realtor that can give you a chance. Or even if some of your friends or family have a nice home, just see if you can take some photos of it. Okay, so now that you're ready to get started, you've maybe done a free shoot or two, and you have some content to show and you're ready to put up some pricing, how do you get started on that? Because that is something that can be really tricky. And the only way to start figuring out your pricing is to see what everyone else in your area is charging to begin with. Trust me, don't do this. Don't go to Google and go how much to charge for real estate photography, because you're just gonna get a really broad and generic range that might not really apply to what people are charging in your area. It might be less, might be more, so it's not really a good gauge to go off of. On the other hand, do go to Google and search real estate photography companies in your area and see what they're charging. That way you can also see who the top players are and see how they run their business as well. And then you can see how you can do yours better. Honestly, in the beginning, it helped me out because I worked at one of these companies when I first started real estate photography, and I learned a lot of what not to do, which is what I implemented into my business today. And look at everybody, doesn't matter how big, not just the big companies, but anywhere from independent freelancers to small companies, big companies. Literally take a pen and notepad and write down the business, and if you can find some general pricing on them, whether it's a starting price or what they actually offer, what services they do. And the reason I'm saying for you to write it down is because then you can visually see what everyone is charging, and it's gonna be a lot more helpful coming up with yours. So now that you have that info, and let's say, for example, the average is $175 starting price for most real estate photography in your area. So what does that mean? Do you just go and charge $175? No, at least not what I recommend. I would recommend you start pricing below that to actually get some business rolling, and then eventually raise your prices once you get some experience and have good quality work to show for it. So I would charge like $125. If I was starting out right now, and that's the average in my area, it's $175 to $200, I would start my pricing at $125, $150 or so. So now that you have that info and we've decided we're gonna go with, say, $150 to start our real estate photography at, what does that mean? Do we just start a website and just do real estate photography, $150? No. So now doing this for over 6 years, I can honestly say there's about 3 solid pricing models. So let's break all of them down. So there's basically 3 pricing models that I'm gonna cover, and because I've been doing this for 6 years and done all of them, I can finally make this video. So first, let's talk about the first and most basic pricing model, and that is a flat rate, which is what I did when I first started. Especially if you're coming from other photography fields, say wedding photography, portrait photography, you're probably used to just having a flat rate. For example, if I go do a lifestyle shoot, it's gonna be anywhere from $300 to $500. You get 15 photos, 30 photos, an hour of shooting, 1 week turnaround. It's pretty standard stuff. And then coming over to real estate, I quickly realized that that model doesn't really work for this as much. Because in my opinion, each listing is really unique and different in its own way. It might need different amount of photos, different types of services, twilight sessions, drone photography, a small affordable property, luxury properties. So having just a really solid rate of just $150 is not really gonna be beneficial, but you'll quickly see that you're probably leaving money on the table, and it's just not the best pricing model for this industry. Now, on the other hand, where a flat rate does does work is for add-on products. You could basically have different packages for real estate, which we're about to get into with the other two pricing models, but then have add-on products that can just be for a flat rate, whether it's drone photography, twilight sessions, amenity photography, any of those things that are just really standard and are the same things every time, you can have a flat rate for those, no problem. So that's what I currently use flat rates for.
Hey guys, Feature Andrei here. Quickly wanted to mention something before jumping into the next topic, and that is this SSD drive sent to me by Lexar. This is a super fast portable SSD drive, and if you're watching this video, you're probably gonna need something like this. As you can see behind me, I work with a bunch of hard drives, and this is a really fast one because it's a solid state drive. And the reason I'm telling you about this is because they're running a crazy good sale on this. It comes with a 1 terabyte SSD drive that has a 2000 megabyte write and read speed, which is really fast, along with a 64 gigabyte USB stick. These two come together for a sale price of $60 on Costco's website, which is insane. They're not paying me to say this, they just sent it to me, and I quickly tested it out when I received it, and I transferred 160 gigabytes from one project to this drive in about 5 to 6 minutes, which is crazy fast. Again, if you're watching this video, you're probably gonna need some storage solution. This would be the way to go, that way you're not breaking the bank, because others that I use and have used cost double the price, if not more, for this storage and this speed. Just wanted to showcase it. If you're interested, link in the description. Back to the video.
So now let's jump to the second pricing model that I used after this, which is doing packages or different tiers based on the amount of photos you deliver. I quickly adopted this after the flat rate was just kind of not really working for me, and when I was doing my research, I did see a lot of companies utilizing this model, especially once I started to do more volume, getting a feel for the industry, and even taking the next step, outsourcing my work, because then I could control how many photos I'm sending out and paying for the editor. And I still totally recommend this model because, like I said, a lot of companies still utilize it, and it's really easy to control the deliverables that you're sending out to your client. Think about it this way: you could have 3 tiers, a light package, a standard, and a luxury. In that light package, I had 16 to 24 photos that they would get. The standard package was 32 photos, which is pretty standard for MLS, and then the luxury package had a minimum of 50 photos. So out of those packages, the realtor could pick how many photos they wanted for their listing. Typically, the smaller listings, they opted in for the light package, and then for the higher end listings, they would get the luxury package, which makes the most sense. Now, I did that for a while, and here's the 2 main problems with that. Along with the fact that I really don't believe that most realtors know how many photos their listing needs. They just kind of gauge it, but I think that should be left up to the photographer. So number 1, it would really stress me out trying to shoot the amount of photos they booked for whatever listing. Let's say it was a regular 2,500 square foot home and they booked the light package. Now I gotta find a way to only shoot around 16 to 24 images for this property that could maybe benefit from 32 photos. It's just putting this extra stress where I'm like, wait, should I do this angle? No, this angle's better. Or I'll do this one, or only get 2 angles of the kitchen when I could have used 4. So that became a little bit stressful and time consuming, making those decisions on site. Or the opposite, they would book the luxury 50 photo package for a really nice small listing, say 1,800 square foot remodeled Airbnb or something, and I'm sitting there trying to figure out how I'm gonna get 50 good quality photos of this tiny property. And then the second problem I found with this model is I found that the realtors would book the wrong package for certain listings. I remember I did a luxury listing. It was a $1 million+ listing, and they only booked the minimum 16 to 24 light package, which I think was priced at $150. So here I am going to a over $1 million listing and only making $150 when I could have made a lot more with my current pricing model that we're about to get into. And then the opposite, like I mentioned in the other example where they booked the luxury package for a small property, and running into these issues, I just felt like this wasn't really the right solution for me, especially because I didn't want to end up shooting just the amount of photos they needed, so I would overshoot, then have to spend more time in editing, selecting the photos that I would send out. And if you're currently watching this video and getting value out of it, you should really think about joining my community. It's $5 a month, and it's something I recently launched, and I already have a bunch of awesome real estate photographers and creators in there that honestly say has already helped their business, because for joining my $5 a month community, you get access to a private Discord group where you and I can chat along with other people, ask questions, get feedback on your work. You get a welcome digital pack that has real estate presets, video LUTs, other assets that I use on the daily, and you get access to an exclusive behind the scenes series where I take you on actual jobs and show you real estate photography or editing, video. I'm blown away by the feedback already, especially that it's a really engaging community. And especially if you're watching this video and just getting started, you'll probably benefit a lot from it, which is linked down in the description. And finally, the third pricing model, which is currently the one that we use in my business and the one that's worked the best, which is having pricing structured based on the size of the home. So different tiers for the square footage of the home. And it makes total sense. The bigger the property, the more photos you have to deliver. And typically the bigger the property, the higher the price point, so you can charge more for that, and the realtor understands that. And that was my problem with the second model that I mentioned, because if they booked whatever package, let's say it was just the standard photo package, someone could book that for a 2,000 square foot property or a 5,000 square foot property, and I'm making the same, but that bigger property is a lot more work on site and a lot more editing. So I've started this and I've just kept it very simple, and I have it divided up into 3 tiers. So if I was starting over and doing this business all over again, getting into real estate photography, now that I did some free shoots, got my foot in the door, got that medium price point of $125 to $150, I would make 3 different tiers, just kind of see what other businesses are doing, dividing up their square footage packages, and say, you know, have a starting price of $125 for a smaller property, then up by $50 for the next tier, another $50 for another tier, and so on. That way it will honestly make more sense, because the bigger the property, the more you'll make. And this way, when it comes to how many photos you deliver, it makes sense. The smaller the property, you'll get, you know, less amount of photos than you would for a big luxury property. In regards to how many photos they get, my clients just understand that I'm just gonna give them whatever I think that listing needs. And I honestly almost always over deliver, especially for those luxury properties. I send way more than they need, because I still do a little bit of the editing along with outsourcing some of the photos, but that way I can just know that I'm fully covered and I'm doing what other companies aren't doing, which is, again, when they're using that other model where it's like, hey, you get 32 photos or you get 16 photos or 42 photos, whatever that is, I'm gonna over deliver, and that's why they're gonna get really great quality photos, but a lot more than the competition, and keeping the clients really happy. And so for me and my business currently, our real estate photography starts at $260. We are above market average, I know that, but that's because we do have that luxury approach to every listing. And if you aren't familiar with my business, it's called Pro Real Media, and we do focus probably more on video than photography. A lot of our clients book our photo video packages because we are almost like a luxury boutique media business, not just a real estate photography company. And I also am able to get that price point up to $260 because of the amount of photos we send. I include drone within that, not just as an add-on, so it has to be that very minimum. For me, in the phase of my career that I'm in, it doesn't make sense for me to just go drive around for $100, $125. And so if someone books a listing for us, it's gonna be at that $260 price point minimum, all the way up to $2,000, which is actually what I have today. I have a $2,000 listing package later today. And I also don't wanna give exact pricing on the other tiers that I'm offering, because I think next season I'm gonna change it up and offer even more tiers. So right now it's currently divided by 3 square footage packages. I might make them smaller to introduce more affordable packages for smaller homes, and even more expensive for higher end homes. That way, if I bring on a photographer, they're gonna be able to do those smaller properties first. And it's been great because I don't have to worry about how many photos I send. I know that if they pay that price point, I know I'm covered for whatever outsource fees and still get enough that I need for the business. And I can just over deliver a little bit more, do a little bit of editing on the photos as well, since we don't do 15 to 20 properties. We're not a volume based business right now. And so we currently do honestly less than 5, but most of them are at that 200, 500,000 plus price point. And for me, I've always wanted to shoot those luxury properties that can be, say, worth $1,000 instead of do 5 smaller properties at a couple $100 and make the same amount, but really enjoy the work that we're producing. So that's pretty much it. That's what I would do if I was starting a real estate photography company today and I didn't know much coming from another industry. I would start out doing some free shoots to get some portfolio work, get my foot in the door. Then I would research what the competition is doing, what their pricing is, how I could do things better, come up with a solid pricing model that works, and get out there. And for me and my business, our most booked photo package is the base $260 package, which is under 2,500 square feet homes, I believe. And you're probably wondering like, oh wow, so you don't get your other packages booked for bigger properties? And we do, but we get them booked with our photo video package. So what I can honestly say is our clients, if they have a small home and they don't need video for it, they'll book book that small photo package. But then typically, most of our clients book our photo video packages, which starts at $515, goes up from there, and we'll do photo video for those nicer properties, which is what I love to do. And if you're interested in learning more about how I do video and video packages and things like that, let me know down below, along with maybe the systems that we use to deliver the photos, invoice clients, and things like that. So that's it for this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, comment down your thoughts, subscribe if you haven't already. I would love for you guys to be part of the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.